Hello and welcome. This is Shirley Stewart and this is So Too We Begin Embroidery. Thank you for stopping by again today. And I just want to remind you before we get started to please hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up if you like the video, share, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. I wanted to make sure that I remind everybody of this before we get started so we can continue to grow with this channel. We're doing very good and I'm quite pleased, and I do appreciate everybody that has tuned into this channel and has subscribed. And please let your colleagues and friends and people that you know that you feel may be interested in this type of information to check out my channel and see if they like it. So today will be video number 2 in the series that I have titled Learning Our Machine. And I am talking about the PR1055X, Brother 10 needle embroidery machine. That is the machine that I currently have behind me. And many of the things that I talk about will also hold true for the PR1050. So those two machines are pretty much the machines that will fall into the category of the information that I will be discussing in this series. So again, this is series number 2, and what we will be talking about today will be maintaining your embroidery machine to make sure that it stays in tip-top shape. That is one of the most important things that we can do for our investment, because as we both know, as we all know, that the machines that we purchase are not inexpensive. They do have a hefty price tag, and we want to be able to keep them as long as possible. Now, this maintenance is something that is routine. It does not take the place of our annual servicing that should be done, where we actually take our machine into a brother's technician to give it a good thorough checking out and making sure that everything is running sufficiently so we can make sure that we maintain longevity of our machine. So I'm going to go over 3 main things today. One will be kind of a fun thing, and then the other 2 will be specifically talking about maintaining the machine. So let me get the fun thing here so we can just enjoy what this machine does. As you know, it's so much that can be done with this machine. It's just an amazing, awesome machine. I am thoroughly pleased and happy with my purchase for this machine. Every day I learn something new about this machine, especially since I made it a conscious effort to start this series. Now, what I do have to confess is that I'm one of these people that don't necessarily do what we all should do, and that's read a manual. I don't read manuals for almost none of the things that I have, none of my technical equipment that I have, my iPhone, my serger, this embroidery machine, my computer, cameras, none of those things. I'm horrible at that. I don't read the manual, even with my software. I'll just dive in feet first and push buttons and hope for the best, and usually I'm pretty good at it and things work out fine. But what I have found as time has gone on and things have become a lot more complex, that's not really the best way to do things. You really need to start reading the manual, Shirley, and learn what it is that you're supposed to be doing, because you're not going to get the full benefit of all the features that are available to any of the products that you have. And so I am making the commitment that I will start reading manuals, and specifically the manual for the PR1055X, mainly so I will learn my machine, and also so I will be able to share the information that I have learned with you. So with that being said, again, I am making that commitment. And what I have done to prepare for this particular video is, of course, to read up on the maintenance that is necessary for the machine. So let me tell you one little cute little thing that I picked up actually a few months ago. I've had my machine since February, and it comes preloaded with a screensaver and cute little projects and what have you on the screen, and it's really cool. But I wanted to personalize. I wanted to know if I could. So I start looking at the buttons, of course, and going through those 9 pages. As you know, when you um, turn on your machine, or if you've done any exploration of your machine, there are 9 pages of things that you should be know that pertains to setting up the machine. And on one of the pages, I think it's page 5, it shows you where you can actually customize your screensaver. So you might be able to see it in the background. So I'm going to pull the camera up a little closer, and then I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about how to do that. And once I'm done with that, then we'll go ahead and start talking about the maintenance of the machine. Okay, if you can see my LCD panel, you can see that these are not the pictures that have come with the machine. They're pictures of myself, mainly me. I just found some pictures that were on a USB drive and decided to upload it to my machine to see if it works. So I'm going to show you how that works. So you go into your LCD panel, and if you look at this icon here that looks like a page with lines on it, if you click on that, then you will go to the pages that I mentioned, pages 1 through 9. And each page has icons and functions that are related to your machine, and it's very important. And on my next video, I will be going over these 9 pages along with a few other things. But I just wanted to point this screensaver thing out to you just as just a happy note. So I will go to page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, I was correct. It is on page 5. And right here it says Screensaver. Now, if you hit select, you can see where it can be customized. It has a default, which I'm hoping if I put it back on default, it would go back to the pictures that were already on it, because they were cute pictures and I don't want to lose those pictures, but I just wanted to see if I could personalize it. So I'm going to try to make sure I don't want to be steady moving the camera because I don't want it to get all crazy, but I just wanted to make sure that you could see that pretty clear. This ring light kind of blurs things, but you see customize here, and you can see you can customize 1 through 5, which I've done. As you can see, each one of these have been customized. All you have to do is hit the whatever one you want, hit the top USB icon, because that's the one that you should have your USB icon, your USB drive in, your flash drive. Now you need to have your pictures, of course, on a flash drive, and you need to make sure that the pictures are not that large that they won't load, because the machine will tell you if the picture is too large to load, because I did have some on there that were too large to load. And once you hit this icon, then there will be a list. Let me see if I can hit it. There will be, let me see. Trying to get it to see if I can't get my list to come up. I'm trying to get my list to come up, and maybe because I'm kind of confused as to why it won't come up and read my, oh, I know, I took it out. I'm sorry. I took that particular flash drive out already. That's why it wouldn't come up. So unfortunately, I don't have that flash drive in there. But if you hit your custom and you have your flash drive in there that does have your photos on there, then it will actually show up on there. So I'm going to look and see if I have that handy where I can actually put it in there and actually show it to you. Let me see. I don't have it here. I probably moved it. I will be right back. Okay, I'm going to take this flash drive out and I'm going to put this one in. Okay, now that I have it in there, now let's see if we can't get this back where you can see it. You touch this, as you can see, the pictures will come up. So you're going to have a whole list of whatever's on your flash drive, but you can select one of them, and whatever pictures that you have, and you can make a decision if you want to select a picture. You hit set, and there it will be. So I just wanted to show you that neat little trick in case you hadn't figured that out, that you can customize your screensaver on your Brother machine. So that's just a little tidbit that I wanted to share with you. So now let's get into the main meat of this particular video today and talk about the maintenance of our machine. Okay, the first thing that I want to talk about is the bobbin. Now, according to the manual, you are to oil the bobbin every day. Now, you take the bobbin out because you really don't want to get the oil onto your thread. So you take the bobbin out, and inside of here it is a diagram that shows you what how to oil your bobbin. Also, let me point it to the LCD panel where you can also see on the LCD panel where you can get to the oil. So if you touch this icon here, you can see the icon to oil right there. This is the icon that you select, and then once you select that icon, then you will see the little icon to oil. If you select that, then of course it's going to say that the hand wheel will rotate automatically to a position where it can easily be oiled, and of course keep your hands out of the way. You hit OK, then the machine, your bobbin casing or shaft or whatever that mechanism is called is going to turn slightly where you're able to actually put a drop of oil in there. So it gives you a diagram. Once you have done that, then once you have put your oil in there, then you hit OK, and then you will be done. So you're going to hit it to rotate it so you can oil it, hit it again when you're done. So that's how you oil that, and that is to be done every day. every day that you're going to use your machine to do any type of project or whatever, they recommend that you oil it. Now, what I will tell you that I do, if I know I'm not going to do anything extensive, if I'm only going to stitch something small or very few stitches, not a lot of density or whatever, I may not oil it the next day because I really didn't use it that much. But if you are using your machine quite a bit throughout the day, I would say basically anywhere from, I would say 2 to 8 hours per day constantly, you definitely need to make sure that you are oiling your bobbin every day. Now, here's where you oil it on the side with your bobbin out. I use this to oil mine. Now, when I got my machine, this is the oil that came with it, and the tip is kind of big, so I don't use it. I think I got this off of Amazon, and it's like a little needle, and you're going to get a very small drop of oil. Matter of fact, I think you can see just a little bit that's about to slide off the little needle, and that's what I use to oil my my bobbin every day. Now, in the manual, it does say to oil lightly. And I know for a fact if you don't do it, you can definitely get oil onto your fabric, whatever it is that whatever your project is for that day. If you oil it too heavily, the initial stitching, there will be some residue of oil that will get onto your project. So you want to make sure that you're careful and you oil it lightly, or either do like a little practice stitch on some felt or something to let that soak into that before you actually put your project on, especially if you're making something for a customer, because you don't want it to get oily. I also have what they call a pin oiler that can be, I got this from Metro EMB. I think I got this one from Amazon, but either one of them can be purchased from either one of those places. They're very easy to get. They call this one a pin oiler because it has a little clip, just like a pin. You pull the top off of it, and it's just like the little pin one that I showed you. Pull the top, and you see it has a little thin needle point to it. So that's what I use to oil my machine, and I do it every day. The other thing that is important to do is to make sure that you brush out your bobbin area. Just brush it out real good. Get any of the thread or anything like that. You may occasionally want to take the top off here, unscrew it. Screwdriver comes with your toolkit. That makes it very easy to take this top off, and then you can take this off and you can brush this out real good as well. So that's something that you want to make sure that you do. The other thing that you want to do, and where did my bobbin go? Let's see if I can find it. Let me see where I put it. Okay, I found my bobbin, and you can put the bobbin back in once you've done all of that. One other thing that you might want to do occasionally is what they say, to brush this out as well, and the tension area is pliable enough where you can stick a little business card in there and slide it back and forth just very gently to get the lint out of there. And you might want to do that periodically. You don't have to do it every day unless you are using it quite a bit, because lint does get up in there and it does affect the tension as well. So that's the other thing that you want to do. One other thing is that I have heard people ask questions on Facebook about whether or not you have to use magnetic bobbins. The answer to that question is no, you don't have to. However, I was told by an embroidery machine technician to get the magnetic bobbin because it helps with the tension. And ever since I was told that, that's what I have been using. I use the full Field Tech magnetic bobbin that I get off of Amazon for about 140 of 44 box for about 133. I'm sorry, 144 bobbins per box for about $33 off of Amazon. Now, the gray part, as you can see, this part around here goes into the bobbin, right in here. And the blue part, this part right here, all blue, goes into the machine. So that's how you load your magnetic bobbin. And then you go ahead and do it just like you do any other bobbin, and then put it back into your machine. And once you put it back in there, you got to make sure it clicks, because if it doesn't click, then it isn't in there correctly. Sometimes as soon as I put it in, it clicks, sometimes not, but I know it isn't seated correctly until you hear that clicking. And I'll get it in there. Now I just want to act up because I'm trying to do a little demo and I'm not getting it to click. But it is not completely in there correctly seated until it clicks. So I will just fool around with it until I get it to click, because I know it is not in there until it clicks. You must hear that click to know that it has seated correctly. There you go. Sometimes it just wants me to just play with it. So it's in there and it clicked. I hope you heard it. So once that bobbin clicks, then you know it's in there the way it's supposed to be. I was told to have about 3 inches of thread hanging down, probably no more than about 3 inches, and I normally just cut it off. So that takes care of the bobbin. Now, the other thing that I wanted to mention about the bobbin is what I was saying about magnetic. Now, when I got my machine, the Brother toolbox has magnetic machines, bobbins, 5 of them, and so that is another good reason to use it, because that's what they gave me to use with my machine. However, when I did my research about maintenance on the machine, they recommended in the book, in the manual, metal bobbins. And I know that, you know, we have metal bobbins that can be used. Now I have these. I've never used them before. They came with something else, and I don't even know if they're for my multi-needle or for a single needle, because I haven't used them. I haven't even checked to see if it's the correct size or anything. So it's up to you if you want to use metal, or if you want to use magnetic, or if you want to use paper, or whatever type of bobbin, pre-wound, or you wind it yourself, or however. I personally prefer the pre-wound. It has been recommended to use it because they're more tightly wound together, and it usually gives out a better stitch. The only way that I would use a self bobbin that I wind myself is if I'm trying to get a particular color to my bobbin to match my top thread for freestanding lace or something like that. Now I have found on Amazon some L bobbins, which is the size for this machine, that are different colors. They have the normal colors, the reds, the greens, the blues, the golds, the brown. And so I did purchase a case of those. I think it's about maybe 16 of them in there or something like that for 10 bucks, something along that line. But what I also did, initially I had bought a sidewinder, bobbin winder, plastic one for my single needle machine, but I didn't like the way that it performed. So it didn't wind my bobbins correctly. The bobbin winder that came with my machine didn't wind it correctly. So I actually did a little research and I saw this one that was recommended. It's this contraption thing here, and then you see it has the loop and it has the tension and everything, and it is electric as well. It's not battery operated. And I haven't used it yet, but it has very good reviews. It cost me about 50 bucks on Amazon, so that's what I purchased, and that's what I got the metal bobbins with. It came with that. So I just wanted to let you know that that's an option. If you are wanting to wind your own bobbin, you might want to use some type of machine that's going to wind it up tightly and correctly if you don't want it to have an issue with tension and stitching out. So that's pretty much what I want to tell you about the bobbin. Now again, if you go into, I believe it's here, and this is the little icon that looks like a film strip. Now let me get you to my LCD panel so I can show you this. This icon here that looks like a film strip. Now if you go to this icon, then you're going to go to this page, and it has operation guide, video support, and app guide. Now this is where you can use to get information. Here you have videos of all the different things. It even has maintenance. Now maintenance on here, the only thing it talks about basically is the information for your bobbin. And you can see it will bring up a film, a video, and it will show you step by step what it is that you need to do. Everything that I told you today is on that video. And it also goes into showing you, it tells you to turn your machine off and all of that for safety purposes, of course, and also go in there and go brush out, clean out your bobbin. So that's all the information that is in your machine, or on your machine basically, about maintaining your machine. However, once you go into the manual itself, then you will see that it also talks about the oiling of your needles, the bar. Now, let's talk about that. So let me get you pointed down here to the machine again, and here we're going to talk about our needles. So I want to go to right here to this page. Now on my LCD panel, I have gone to the same page that I showed you where you have the icon for your oil, and on that it has listed all of the 10 needles. Now what it tells you is to oil the felt, little white felt that is up here, and you need to pull your needle all the way down. Now this one came all the way down, and you can see it a little bit better, and I'm going to see if I can't get this to get closer so you can see it. Let's see if I can zoom in. I think I have it as far as it will go, so I can't get it in any closer, but there's a little white felt here. Now what the manual says is to put the oil on the shaft just above the felt, and that's going to drip down onto the felt. Now, the reason I mentioned the LCD panel and the numbers of the needle, you will find that you're not going to be able to let every bar down. See, this bar 1 came down a little bit. Bar 2 came down the way it needs to come down. Bar 3 won't move at all. So if I touch bar 3 on my panel, then I should be able to get it down, and I did. Now that is what I do. Now I can go to 4, it'll come down a little bit, but then when I go to 5, it comes down even more, and I can oil it. However, if I go to 6, it won't move at all. So then I will touch 6 needle. And it's going to come down where I can oil it. Number 7 is going to come down a little bit. Number 8 is going to come all the way down. But then number 9 is not going to come down at all. So again, I hit number 9 and it comes down enough to oil, and number 10 comes all the way down. So you can oil your needles all the way across the felt, or the bar where the felt is. So the book, the manual recommends that you do that every 40 to 50 hours of stitching. So that depends upon how much stitching you actually do. This is not something that you have to do every day unless you are doing a lot of stitching on your machine. Now, if you do 8 hours worth of stitching per day, if that's an average for you, then you need to oil that needle bar or that thread bar or needle bar, or however you want to call it, once a week. If you're not doing 40 to 50 hours worth of stitching, then you don't have to do that every week. You may only have to do it once a month. For me, at this moment, since my business is not that flourishing at this moment, I don't think I have to do it, but maybe every 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, what have you, to oil it. So it depends upon how much you're using your machine. However, it is important that you do oil it. Now, those are the only 2 pieces of information stipulated about oiling or any type of maintenance for your machine. Now, as we all know, this is a mechanical device and it has moving parts. And anytime you have a mechanical device with moving parts that moves constantly back and forth all the time, like this machine, it's going to need some type of lubrication to keep it from having wear and tear and all of that. Now, because they're not telling us to do any more oiling, and if you talk to anybody that has commercial machines, or maybe even a different brand, because I had a different brand, and I was told that I needed to do not oiling per se, but what they call it is greasing. You had to get some lithium grease and actually grease the bars of the pentagram and what have you, and just a lot of maintenance that needed to be done. And I guess that's because you're not going to be hauling this machine into a service area as it is expected that we do with our Brother machine. As you know, Brother does not come out to your home to maintain your machines. You need to find either a technician that freelances out, that's not affiliated with Brothers, that does embroidery machine servicing, or you'll have to find a Brother service center, sales dealership, what have you, to take your machine in when it needs to be serviced once a year. So that's the expectation of Brother. That's why they're not telling us to do anything else as far as maintaining our machine. However, if we continue to do what we need to do with oiling the needles, bar, and our bobbin, we should be pretty good, and all the other maintenance that goes along with that. And what I mean is changing your needles. That question comes up a lot about how often do you change a needle. Now I have to be honest about it. My single needle machine that I have, which is also a brother machine, is SE 1900, which is a sewing embroidery combo machine, single needle. I used to only change the needle when the needle broke. If it didn't break, I didn't change it. But what I found out, the more I learned, is that I do need to change it. First of all, if you have any kind of trouble with your machine, one of the main things that you think about doing when you're troubleshooting is to change your needle. If you have, of course, say for instance, you have a bird nest, you might want to change your needle. If you see that the needle's bent, you definitely must change your needle. If it is a lot of breakage, thread breakage, then one of the things that you probably need to do is to change your needle. So, do I change my needles every day? No. What is recommended is that you change the needles based upon how much stitching you do. So if you're doing a lot of stitching in a day, or however often that is, then those needles that you are using, if you're not using all 10, then you only change the needles that you've used a lot. Say for instance you're using needles 2, 6, and 9. Then if that's the color thread that you're using and you use that a lot for that particular day, and you did a whole lot of caps or anything else that was dense, or it was a lot of stitching going on for that day, then you probably need to change those needles for the next day. Other than that, then you don't really need to change the needles until you have some type of issue. If you're having thread break, if you're having bird nest, if you're using metallic thread, I recommend that you use a metallic thread needle. If you are stitching on denim or something thick like that, I recommend that you get like a 9014 needle or a denim needle. If you're using leather or faux leather or vinyl and you're stitching on that, then it is recommended that you use a leather needle with a fine point, which would be a fine point or short point 9014 needle. Those are the times when you really need to change your needles, even though there may not be an issue with the needle that you change it out from. Also, it is common practice that if you hear a lot of knocking noise, that you may need to change your needle as well. And I had that happen a while back. I had been stitching some hats and some caps rather, and I had done some dense projects, and I started noticing a lot of knocking because there was a lot of vibration as well, and that kind of stuff. And what I did, I just kind of did the whole troubleshooting gamut. I checked my bobbin, checked my threading, made sure I oiled my bobbin, make sure I did oil my needle threader plate, and I changed my needles, and the noise went away. So I recommend that you do that. So those are some of the troubleshooting things that you need to be aware of, and if you follow through with those types of things, then you should have a well-maintained machine that should last you quite a while and that you'll be very happy with, and you will be able to get a long life out of your investment. So that's what I want to tell you today about the maintenance of your machine. So that is pretty much the information that I wanted to share with you today. I hope that this information has been useful to you, and that If you have any questions or anything, please put comments down below. Also, let me remind you to subscribe, to hit the notification bell, to give me a thumbs up as a like, and also to share this video with the people that you feel would use it, that would get some good use out of it. And before I go, I just wanted to mention one more item that I am also using as a resource, and that is the Brothers Playbook. Now, this is the Entrepreneur Pro X 1055X Brother Playbook, and it is specifically for the 1055X machine. They do have a PR1050 playbook that's available, and if you have a 1050, be sure you get that book if you're interested in the book, because they don't interchange. There are things that are different in the 1055X book versus the 1050 book because the machines are slightly different. The 1055X is a newer model, therefore it does have some things that are a little different that was not available on the 1050 machine. So make sure that you get the correct one. I want to give you a little warning though, however, if you are interested in this particular book, it is expensive. It's not cheap. The 1055X playbook costs a pretty penny. You have to get it from your dealer, and they will give you the price. If you get the 1050 playbook, you might be able to find it on, I don't know if it's on Amazon, but if you Google, you should be able to find it, maybe eBay or someplace like that, and it's nowhere near as expensive as the 1055X because it's the new one. The book also comes with a USB drive that looks like a little credit card, little cute thing, but it actually is a USB flash drive that you can put in either your embroidery machine or your computer. Now, they recommend that you put it in the computer, and I agree. I put it in my laptop and I view it. And it's about 30 some odd lessons on there. And they're tutorials, and that's what this particular book is all about. It gives you hands-on tutorials to do a lot of different projects, and what they say, if you do all of these projects, you will know how to use your machine front, back, sideways. You will utilize every icon that is available on this machine. Now, I don't know if that's 100% true because I haven't done this whole book. I've only done a few of the projects. Now, some of the projects require, or they use equipment that you may or may not have, like the jumbo hoop. I do have the jumbo hoop, and I did a video on it. They have a project using the jumbo hoop. The magnetic quilting sash, they have a project using that. I have that. I've done a video on it, and there's a project in here. They also have a clamp hoop. I have clamp hoops, but not the one that they are talking about, and I will do a video on that shortly. But they have a project on that, and then maybe one or two more equipment hoops that you may or may not have that will, I guess, say prevent you from doing that particular project the way it's supposed to be done by the book. But everything else can be done by the book. And it gives you step by step by step, and it tells you what icon to hit for this one and go to the next, and you hit this icon and that one and so forth and so on until you have completed the project. And then if you look at the video shows you. It's not like the video that's on your machine, because if you remember, the videos that are on your machine, there's no sound. It's just animated. I feel like it's animated. It doesn't really, actually I think it is animated. It doesn't really, I don't like them. They're just there. But the videos on the Playbook flash drive that you get, it's a live person doing the demo, and the person is speaking to you, and she shows you step by step by step by step and talks you through it. So it is very helpful. And of course, since you own the book and the flash drive, you can look at it over and over and over again until you actually learn it. If you're in the process of trying to figure out how to do something and you have the book, then you can say, oh, let me color sequences, echo stitching, stippling, how to do split designs, how to do the flat brim hoop, cap hoop system. It talks about applique, and it goes over the operation screens, and it talks about what each icon is and what it's for and what it does and so forth and so on. So it's a very good primer. It's going to teach you how to use this machine if you choose to get it. So I'm hesitant to say that I highly recommend that you get it, because in all honesty, it's not 100% necessary to own, and it is an investment, especially if you're going to get the 1055X Playbook. Like I said, it was not cheap. It was over $100. So just check with your dealer if that's something that you're interested in. But what I will recommend, and what I am going to do, as I mentioned, I'm going to read my manual. In this manual, it goes over everything that you need to know about this machine. It answers your questions. It's your guide. It's your encyclopedia. It's your Bible. So if you have the manual and you actually look at it and read it and look at it again and check it out and see how it's supposed to be done and what have you, then you will learn your machine. So you don't really have to have the playbook. It's a good tutorial because it really is nice to be able to see somebody do something, like how I like to do it here on my channel, and one of the reasons why many of you have subscribed and you see my YouTube, because you want to see it, you want to hear it, and you want to hear someone talking to you. And hopefully soon, as my channel grow, I'll be doing some lives, and we can not necessarily talk to each other per se, but I'll be live and you can text me, and we can interchange that way. And who knows, maybe soon we can do some Zooms and things like that, and we can get a chance to meet each other and develop friendships and what have you. Those are the things that I'm hoping to be able to do with this channel as it grows. And it is growing, and I do want to thank all of you that have subscribed, and I do encourage you to keep coming back and viewing new videos as I put them up, and to also recommend them. And like I said, hit the like button. That's very important. To like and to share is extremely important. To subscribe is extremely important. And to get the notification when there's a new video is extremely important, because those are the things that are going to help you and help me with this channel and allow me to continue to do this on a regular basis. So with all of that being said, I hope everything has been useful to you. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, what have you, please feel free to put comments below. I read every one of them. I respond to them. I am going to ask again, as I've always done, for suggestions for different videos or issues that you're concerned about. I do try to stay abreast of what a lot of people are asking, because when I go on the Facebook to a lot of these different Facebook groups that I belong to, I hear the questions, and then based upon that helps me to make a decision as to what it is I want to discuss on my channel. So that's all I have to say for today. Again, thank you for stopping by, and until next time, I will talk to you later. Have a great day.